episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor.
Welcome everybody again to another episode of our show with another fascinating guest that is involved in creating a better tomorrow. As a little background, today's guest came to our attention via a fascinating expose in the Los Angeles Times about a year ago. And it is somebody who really epitomizes getting a lot done in the area of science and technology with very limited staff and resources. We're honored today to be joined by Rehman Shirzad, who is Director of the Forensic DNA Laboratory in the Directorate of Legal Medicine and the Forensic Laboratory Consultant for the Forensic Medicine Director at the Ministry of Public Health in Kabul, Afghanistan. He has a wide range of responsibilities, including the supervision of the Forensic DNA Lab, the Forensic Analytical and Post-Mortem Toxicology Lab, the Serology Lab, Microbiology and Histopathology Labs. Mohammed has his master's in Forensic Science and Toxicology from the Center for Research in Molecular Medicine at the University of Lahore, Pakistan. He did his bachelor's work in molecular and microbiology at the Center of Biotechnology and Microbiology at the University of Peshawar. He is a member of both the American Academy and the Canadian Academies of Forensic Sciences, and he is fluent in Pashto, Hindi, Urdu, Arabic, French, but we will be talking in English today. Mohammed, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come talk to us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Typically, we start off by just handing our guest the microphone for a little bit. If you could just take a few minutes to sort of introduce yourself, a little bit about where you grew up, and how you developed your interest in both microbiology and forensic sciences. I think that'd be a great way to get started so we can learn a bit about your background.
Yeah, that's great. I'm Mohammed Rehman Shirzad. I did my bachelor in from Center of Biotechnology and Microbiology from University of Peshawar, and then with the support of OIC scholarship, I joined the University of Lahore Center of Research in Molecular Medicine and did my M.Phil in Forensic Sciences specialization in Forensic DNA. And then in 2016, I joined Forensic Medicine Directorate as a Forensic Laboratories Consultant and Forensic DNA Specialist here. And from 2016 till now, I'm working with Forensic Medicine Directorate here in Afghanistan. Yeah. In this era, in this period, we inaugurate and we reactivate Forensic DNA Laboratory, which was the need of the Afghan population and the need of the Afghan judiciary system. And then we also work on the forensic toxicology, or the upgradation of forensic toxicology laboratory, and as well as forensic histology laboratory. As you talk about the Los Angeles Times, that the Los Angeles Times also visit and see our laboratory complex here. And in this period of time, we start some research on Afghanistan population, and then we publish these research in well-reputed international journals like Forensic Science International and Genetics, and so bioarchives. Basically, this research was on the title of Study of Genetic Diversity of Afghanistan Population. Yeah, and then we select Hazara population, and with successful rate, successfully we type forensic the DNA of Hazara population, and also we published in November 2020. We also published another paper which is also related to the forensic genetics, This is also on the title of Baloch population of Pakistan and also Hazara population across the Durand line. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I looked through some of those papers. Really a bunch of fascinating work. As you were doing those, interesting sort of comparisons between some of those different regional groups. Are you studying those for sort of more basic genetic knowledge, or they're interesting maybe health-related genetic markers and so forth in the region that you're
yeah.
further working on with that
Yeah, I
research?
think this is a good question. Right now, I'm working in criminal lab,
Right.
and this is criminal lab, and our most focus is on uh, ancestry and as well as establishing of criminal databases in forensic databases of the population, and also to know the uh, our genes, that what kind of genes we have in these populations. Yeah.
It's very interesting, and that's just thinking because Afghanistan is. I sit here on, of course, the east coast of the United States, but Afghanistan is obviously at such a crossroads of so many different, so much genetic diversity. It's a pretty fascinating
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah, exactly. In this population, we type in after analysis, our Hazara population is belonging from Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and the Uyghur population. Basically, this was a top speaking population. Yeah, uh, Afghanistan was like a bridge, and many populations was there, and that's why we got interest to study our population, and also to study what kind of genetic we have, and for the future of for the future of our genetic labs, and yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, at the, I read the article last year in Los Angeles Times. The Forensic Medicine Directorate, which you're a part of. You have quite a lot on your hands in terms of sort of investigating general crimes, and obviously there's been a lot that's gone on in terms of war and so forth as well that you have to responsibility for. Talk a little bit about sort of what you do on a daily basis at the Forensic Medicine Directorate.
Yeah, and forensic medicine directorate, we are receiving our cases from basically this is the referral directorate. We are receiving cases from outer from organization like Attorney General Office, the court, and the Supreme Court, and also NDS, which is the National Directorate of Security, from the Ministry of Interior, and from the Ministry of Defense. And then we characterizing our cases, that what kind of cases. Then basically our investigation is it's health related. It's health related forensic investigations, and sometime if needed we are going on crime scene, and sometime we are not going on crime scene, and then we are in like age estimation. Yeah, we are doing here age estimation, and also some torture related cases we are taking, like if somebody is in custody, and the police and other security official mentally tortured and are physically, then we are taking this case for investigation. Then we are and then some toxicological examination cases, and then receiving dead bodies from from crime scenes, from MOI, from police department, and from other law officials, and investigating the toxicological examination, histopathological examination. Right now, DNA investigations, and also autopsy. If needed, we are also performing autopsy here, and then anti-mortem examination, like post-mortem, and then basically forensic is very broad.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and we are taking, or we are doing a very broad work here in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What another interesting article I came across about you? Obviously, Afghanistan, aside from being a crossroads of many cultures, it has unfortunately become sort of a major producer of opium and so forth. And there was an article about you is sort of on the ethical drug side, investigating, I guess, activities that go on, whether they're involving opium, but also the article was about ephedra plants and sort of some of the illicit uses there. Talk a little bit about some of what you do on that front in terms of your investigation, and then obviously, well, both these areas are kind of dangerous, but when you start getting involved in some of these investigations of illicit drug materials, any interesting stories as far as any dangerous situations you've gotten involved in as you've been doing your investigations there?
It was an article also published in Undark, and what we did, and we take ephedra plants from different mountains, from different heights, and then we measured the heights, wind pressure, humidity, and everything, even light intensity over there. And then after checking these plants, and then we analyze these plants in our toxicology laboratory to study how potent they are, and how pure ephedrine we can extract from these plants. And after our investigation, and then our local people in Afghanistan using this plant is a medical therapeutics.
Sure.
Like for the kidney problems, and also for the lungs problem, and then we also study this side also. And after that, after completing our examination, then we concluded that this is the we can say this is the plant that somebody with some expertise, you can easily extract methamphetamine and amphetamine, which is the which we can put these drugs in narcotics.
Right.
Yeah.
I also noticed that for several years before your involvement here, you obviously you have a degree in medical microbiology. You were very active on that front, and obviously it makes we're sitting here unfortunately in the middle of a major global pandemic. How's everything on sort of the medical microbiology front in Afghanistan as far as the pandemic is going today? Any interesting things that you're seeing, either, obviously based on your microbiology experience, or obviously on the forensic side with regard to COVID in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Microbiology is, we can say microbiology is a degree who can know very well to control, to perform some diagnostic tests for COVID-19. And what we did, because it was my responsibility to, and I design a research. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm fine.
Yeah. I designed a research with the title of Knowledge, Attitude, and Practice Among Afghan Healthcare Workers uh, and their response to COVID-19. And then we distribute our questionnaires all over Afghanistan, especially the places where the COVID-19 is. We had the cases of COVID-19 about 100. And then after analysis of our work, and then we give a small and feasible guidelines to Ministry of Public Health, and then they control the first period of COVID-19. Yeah, the first. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, and it seems like it's been rather successful, as you haven't had the just tremendous a surge as we've seen elsewhere, but very good. You know, when I look also at your profile, you know, aside when you're not doing all of this work, you are also actively or have been actively involved on a couple different fronts in terms of the refugee situation in certain parts of the country, and you've worked as a teacher for children in refugee camps, and then I also read that you recently became an advisor for something known as the Global Youth Academic Advancement Forum, once again teaching I guess the younger generation. Talk just a little bit about what you're doing here with both on the refugee front and some of this early education for the next generation, because obviously STEM and these technologies, they're the future. We need to see more of them everywhere in the world. What are you doing in these particular areas?
Yeah. Basically, I was a refugee in Pakistan, and finished my school and college, and even my second university from Pakistan. In this period, I joined many organizations in Pakistan, and I performed many volunteer work over there, like in refugee camp, teaching in a refugee camp with the support of UNHCR, which was a volunteer for some months, and in this camp it was a huge in a huge tent. There were up to 80 children, and at that time I was the student of science, and freshly graduate, and I was only responsible for the to show how science is important in our life, and how we can perform a small experiment here, like some and to study about to show about the nature, and some kind of information from where cell is originating and what is cell, and what we have in our bodies, and how our body organizing, and how we are coordinating with one another, like that. It was a volunteer for months, and then in a global youth forum advancement, and then I'm a committee member of this forum.
Okay.
Basically we are developing our some SOPs for forensics, and then organizing some workshops, online workshops, and all, and also helping our new students, our bachelor and master students, and also motivating our talented and our good students for forensic, and especially I'm motivating students for forensic DNA.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
I love seeing stories like this. How everything sort of goes back full circle, and that not only do you have these responsibilities in your daily
Yeah.
career, but that you're giving back and teaching the next generation, and that's extremely important. As science and technology are going to
Yeah.
be such an
Yeah.
important
And
part
right.
of all these
Yeah.
environments.
And right now, I am also voluntarily teaching Nangarhar University in science,
Okay,
in Faculty of Science. The subject of biotechnology. Yeah,
excellent.
I'm doing this work from last 2 months. Sorry, from last 2 years.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, and
Um,
perform experiment.
good,
Yeah.
good.
So yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
and
please,
and
please take that.
perform experiment. Yeah, yeah, and perform experiment, even DNA extraction, human DNA extraction, viral DNA extraction, also DNA amplification, and also perform some biotechnology practicals to them, and yeah, and they're yeah,
Very good, very good. It's Mohammed. It's a fascinating story, as I mentioned. Ever since reading about you in the Los Angeles Times, and really wishing you the best with all these projects, not just your daily career, but also all this volunteer work that you're doing. Anything? Did I miss anything? Anything else that's going on that you want to talk about while I have you today? Any other projects coming up? New things?
yeah. I have planned to give Afghanistan to give a pure DNA sequence to Afghanistan, and right now uh, I'm with communication of with ministry
Hmm.
with IRB, Institutional Review Board, to give me a permission uh, to find some graves which will be 300 3,000 13,000 minimum 300 years and maximum 13,000 years old, and then it will be my uh, this is my dream to give a pure DNA structure to give a pure DNA sequence to Afghanistan, and to like yeah,
Really interesting.
yeah.
Very interesting. Amazing work. Really, thank you for for taking the time to come on the show and talk to us. It's very inspirational stuff you're involved in, and wishing you the best with it. And as I said, what you do, and also spreading the knowledge to the next generation. For everybody that's going to be watching this episode or listening on the podcast, we've been talking to Mohammed Rehman Shirzad, Director of the Forensic DNA Laboratory, the Director of Legal Medicine, and the Forensic Laboratory Consultant at the Forensic Medicine Directorate at the Ministry of Public Health in Kabul, Afghanistan. Mohammed, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. I know you've had a long day, but thank you for talking about what you're doing, and thank you for doing it. And as we say on the show, thank you for creating a better tomorrow for everybody in Afghanistan and the region using these technologies and tools. It's been a wonderful time talking to you.
Thank you, same here. Thank you.